Former state senator Nina Turner is launching a new organization called We Are Somebody that will be supporting striking workers around the world. She joins us just in a moment. I wanted to play a little clip from her launch video first.
Everybody is somebody. Most people want the ability to afford housing, healthcare, provide for their family, and be able to take a vacation every now and then. While most corporations are seeing record profits, they aren't leading to record wages. Imagine that. CEO pay has skyrocketed over 1,000% since 1978. CEOs are paid 399 times as much as a typical worker. Workers deserve better. From the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. supporting sanitation workers in Memphis, to Fannie Lou Hamer's work for Black farmers in the South, to Asa Philip Randolph's work organizing the Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters and organizing the March on Washington, the fight for liberation has always been a fight for workers' rights. It is in this robust tradition that I am launching We Are Somebody, a capacity-building organization for the working class.
Well, Senator Turner, thanks so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure to be here.
So can you tell us a little bit about We Are Somebody and what gap you think this new organization fills?
Well, there's nothing quite like it, Ryan, where you have a nonprofit out there to complement what workers are doing. It is indeed a capacity building organization for all workers, not just unionized workers, because we do understand that most workers in this country are not unionized, but to the extent that we can bring unionized and non-unionized workers together, we create a type of synergy that cannot be stopped. There is a need for this organization to both be a bridge for union and non-union workers, but also to be out there on the front lines to amplify, to help to fund and support these workers, to educate and to provide technical support where necessary. And what comes to mind for me is our first big venture, which is going to be with the one and only Christian Smalls, the president of the Amazon Labor Union. As you know, they are a new labor union, and so they don't have robust strike funds, and they could benefit from that kind of help, all the way to helping organizations like One Fair Wage, which is trying to do away with the sub-minimum wage. So there is a gap there, and We Are Somebody aims to fill it.
So interesting. And can you tell us a little bit more about the funding? Obviously, you have a nonprofit structure. So are you mostly looking for small dollar donors, that kind of crowdfunding thing, or looking to just get, funds from people who want to support workers?
Yeah, thanks for that, Emily. It will be a multitude of those options. It will be grassroots donations, which I certainly have become a pro at doing in my 2 runs for Congress. It will be foundational support. We will seek grants from foundations that care very much about economic and social equality, and institutional donors are well. There are some wealthy people out there ultra wealthy people, I should say, out there who understand that there is an imbalance in the economy and that the pendulum has swung too far over, that we are really engaged in the second version of the Gilded Age, and that must be corrected. So I'm also going to help ultra-wealthy people who want to do the right thing and make investments in trying to help workers level the playing field.
So later today, you were telling us before we started taping that you're going to be heading to a parts plant where UAW workers are striking. As you also know, 75,000 Kaiser workers walked off the job this morning. So walk us through, if the organization were up and running and fully funded at this point, and I guess there is no such thing as fully funded because of the depth of the need here, but let's say funded in a greater capacity, what would We Are Somebody be doing either for, say, the Kaiser workers or for the UAW?
Well, first of all, reaching out to those workers and the leaders of those workers to find out exactly what they need. But on the foundational point, it would be to organize, to fund, and to amplify their messages, to get that message out deep and wide. One of the concerns that I have, Ryan and Emily, as I talk to workers all across the country, and let me be more pointed, I went to Streetsboro here in Ohio, where there was a part plant that has about 122 workers there when they walked off the job about 2 weeks ago. And one of the things that the president of Local 573, when I asked him, what do you want the American people to know? He said, we want them to know that we're doing this for them. And talking to other workers, they were explaining that some people think that the UAW, for example, workers may be asking for too much, and they're not asking for too much. So this is as much about organizing the workers who are on the front lines and also educating the people who may be out there and have some misnomers about why workers are asking for a living wage. It's not too much to ask. And I think that we are navigating a society in American culture in particular where folks think it's okay for corporations to dominate and that working class people don't deserve to live a good life. They do deserve to live a good life. And so we are somebody is going to be a bridge. We're going to amplify. We are going to lift. We're going to help workers get their message out, and hopefully all workers will unite based on what they have in common. And the fact of the matter is that this economy is immoral and it is not working for everyday people in this nation.
It's always odd to kind of be living through history because it's a hard time you have a hard time seeing the forest for the trees. So I wanted to ask, the clip that we just rolled is so full of history. You talk about the robust tradition of organizing. Where do you see this current moment where, just today you have the largest healthcare strike in American history? Where do you see this current moment fitting into that robust tradition?
Yeah, thanks for that question. I mean, there is a synergy that is palpable, and the more things change, the more that they stay the same. And we saw those historic images that you made reference to. That was really about moments when people are being treated unfairly in their places of work. And we find ourselves repeating that same sad song again in the 21st century. And what we can do is draw on the past to animate us right now in the present and to help to build a better future. Workers are crying out, and that's why you have what's happening at Kaiser, UAW, the Teamsters, Amazon, Starbucks, nurses, teachers, you name it. There are multitudes of workers all over this country from different backgrounds who are stepping up and stepping out and saying, we're not going to take it anymore. It is absolutely untenable to have CEOs make 399 times the average worker. The scales are not balanced, and we aim to try to bring some more balance. So I am very much touched and was very much motivated from that past, from that history, and then also the coal miners, for present day reference, who went on strike for almost 2 years, about 600 days, and they went back to work without a contract. Over 1,000 of them went out, and they went back because the corporate interests of BlackRock was able to wait them out. They lost the motivation for workers, and they spent almost $35 million. They had a strike fund. They spent almost $35 million in trying to supplement salary, wages, and also health care. And that shouldn't be. A corporation should not be able to wait workers out when all they are asking for is for better wages, better work conditions, and better benefits. That is not too much to ask.
And just so people understand how these fights unfold, a union uses some of its dues to build up a strike fund. They hope that they'll build a big enough strike fund so that they can, inflict enough damage on the corporation before the corporation inflicts more damage on them. It becomes a game of chicken. It becomes a waiting game, as you said with those miners. BlackRock was able to wait them out and eventually, was able to break the strike. That's one of the kind of the extreme versions for how long those striking workers fought. And so the strike fund becomes the flashpoint. And so companies are always trying to figure out what is the size of the strike fund, how long will it last. Unions are trying to make it last longer. The UAW is doing these kind of strategic, timed and targeted strikes. It's only hitting particular plants so that other workers can stay on the job and continue to get paid by the company, which then stretches out their strike fund. Because they say if they all struck at once, their strike fund would be done in like 3 months. And the big three are like, oh, 3 months? Okay, fine. We'll wait that out, and then you'll starve, and then you'll come back to work. And so I'm curious, are you going to be trying to supplement in a targeted way some of these strike funds? In other words, if people are like, you know what, I really support these Kaiser workers, and I want to give $27 that I want to go directly to a nurse to try to keep him or her on the picket line against the company that's trying to wait them out? Or are you going to be doing more kind of political work to support them in a political fashion rather than the direct aid?
No, it's both, Ryan, because really what I want people to know is that, and the question you asked me earlier, if somebody was fully up, we're at the genesis, what would we be doing? That is one of the things that we would be doing, providing direct money to these workers in real time to help supplement any strike funds that they may have. And for some, like Amazon Labor Union, they have nothing. But yes, that money needs to go straight to them so that they can stay one day longer, another day stronger, as they say in the House of Labor, to be able to push back. And the point that you gave about the UAW, they have a strike fund that is over $700 million. And that is a lot of money. You know, when you say it, it sounds like a lot of money. But as you laid out, Ryan, if they had they have 145,000 workers too, it would not last. And so we, the people, need to come out and help to supplement those workers so that if they're paying for medical benefits, for example, and that's exactly what they're doing with that money, and then paying $500 a week to the workers who are already striking, we can help to supplement so that maybe that money could last longer, or they can aim it somewhere else to do something else. It is vitally important that all workers see themselves in these strikes. And that's why another important point that I want to make, Ryan and Emily, is that this We Are Somebody is here for all workers, whether they're unionized or not, because I firmly believe that all workers deserve that support. But we do know that workers who are in unions help to amplify and lift workers who are not. Look at what is happening with Tesla, for example. They got a raise. One of the reasons why they probably got a raise is the fear that they would try to unionize. That is compliments to their sisters and brothers and family and friends at the UAW. So there's an indelible linkage between all workers, unionized or not, and We Are Somebody is in place to help those workers, no matter who they are and no matter where they hail from. So both political and direct support from We Are Somebody.
I could see it driving press coverage too, and so in some ways the direct aid would also then be political support in the sense that, let's say you're up and grassroots donors kick in $5 million to We Are Somebody for Kaiser workers. Like, that's something that makes the news. And then the CEOs on the other side of the negotiating table will see, oh, like they have the entire country kicking in money to them. So that's going to be A, harder for us to wait out, B, makes us look bad. And
Public
so
relations.
much of these strikes is about perception.
Absolutely.
That's right. It's leverage. That's what we're talking about. If the miners in Alabama had more leverage for the gallant fight, and they fought gallantly, if they had more leverage, they would have been able to go back to that table with a signed contract. So this is definitely trying to balance the scale and give the workers the leverage that they need to keep on fighting.
And people are looking for ways that they can fight. I know that, like, that's one of the things I think that has people so kind of torn up in this time, that, you know, for several years there was a sense of like, okay, this is the direction that we're going, and these are the things that we're fighting for. And you know, in the Biden era, that's kind of been cast to the wind. And so this does, I think, kind of reorient people around a North Star of a pro-worker agenda. So. Really looking forward to seeing how, you know, We Are Somebody takes off. Is it? I think wearesomebody.org. Anything else people should know?
Yeah, that's right. Wearesomebody.org, and certainly they can follow my social media, Nina Turner on Twitter, Nina Turner Ohio on the gram. So just follow, and on Facebook too. So just follow my social media platforms, and also, yes, they can go directly to wearesomebody.org.
All right. Well, Senator Turner, thanks so much for joining us. That'll do it for us today. Really appreciate it. Best of luck out there. Any closing thoughts?
Just make sure to subscribe to the premium version, so
After
we can
you give to We Are Somebody, then you yes.
But it's there is synergy, so that we can do interviews like
Exactly,
this and
that's
keep
right.
bringing you the news that
we're leveraging so that she can leverage.
yes, and so that workers can leverage.
There you go.
That's right.
Hey, if you liked that video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to Breaking Points.
If you want to see the rest of Counterpoints, go to breakingpoints.com to become a premium member and get the full uncut show every morning in your inbox and on Spotify.
Help us build independent news and get the full show every morning at breakingpoints.com.